Can I keep it?
Okay, in my pocket.
I want to put it in my room.
All right.
Hey guys!
Hi, Emily.
How are y'all doing today? Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm glad that we have a small intimate groups, and it's gonna be we're gonna have a lot of fun today. We're going to be teaching you guys just basic makeup that you guys can do on set with that, with little to no budget, super quick, fast, easy things that look awesome, pretty much. By the way, I'm Emily. I am a alma mater of GCSU, or GC now, I guess you can call it. I started doing makeup when I was here in school. I thought I was wanted to be an actor, and then as everybody starts out and then I got more and more into special effects and doing it like that, and eventually my professor, Eric, was like, why aren't you doing this as a career? And I said, well, I have a lot of fun with it, and I just kind of do it for hobby. He says, that's kind of what you want to do for your career. So eventually I just started doing it professionally in the indie business. I'm all self-taught mainly, and that's what I'm telling you guys, is that you don't have to go to a school to be a special effects makeup artist. It helps, but you can always self-teach yourself, and you can get far that way. So, onward to Andi.
Hi, I'm Andi Daniel. I'm a filmmaker and actress, and I do special effects makeup for film and TV. I do have a degree in film, but you don't have to have one. I actually would always wander on sets when I go, especially the big sets. I would wander to the makeup department, and it's really cool. The FX, was always fun to watch how they made magic happen, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I do filmmaking, and as a filmmaker myself, it's nice to know both sides of the camera, because I'm an actress, so I know what the actresses are thinking when you do their makeup and what to look for on set, as well as the filmmaker, what that filmmaker is expecting from his makeup artist, what he wants from his makeup artist, and what he thinks all makeup artists can do, which is always a challenge. Sometimes.
Yes.
So, and of course, we were talking earlier about the show Face Off. We know everybody wants to be an FX artist, watches Face Off. Well, a lot of makeup artists don't like that show, because now every filmmaker thinks when we go on their set, that we can do an entire fabrication, prosthetics, makeup, full paint job, everything in like an hour. And that's not the way FX works. FX takes a long time, lots of pre-production, especially if you're making prosthetics.
Yes.
And, test shots, and a lot goes into it. So hopefully we're here, though, to help you learn really basic stuff, so that you can do it if you're a filmmaker. Any filmmakers? Oh, good. See? So hopefully we can kind of help you guys realize, as well as makeup artists, to be, or currently, okay, so hopefully we can kind of help you understand both sides of it, and teach you a little tiny bit of FX, and answer lots of questions. So if you have questions, we definitely will be doing a Q&A at the very end. Or if you have something you really got to know when we're working on somebody, feel free to raise your hand, and we'll help you then.
Awesome.
Okay?
So the first thing we're going to do, this is what I love. It's a very professional looking makeup, but it's very cheap and super easy to put on. They're called Tinsley Transfers, FX Transfers, and you can get them online at tinsleytransfers.com. They're like $9 to $14, and it looks like professional grade, really, and all you have to do is put it on with water. It's like a temporary tattoo. So
Sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but you can actually get those now at Party City, and so they've kind of gotten not just really, on order, into mainstream.
It's gotten really popular now.
So for makeup artists, you can actually get them a little less expensive at places that are in your area, not always online.
All right, so what it comes with is we're doing a bite, and as you see, it's got a very super thin layer around it. What we're going to do, this came like this, and I peeled it off. And now what we're going to be doing is flipping this over, and we're placing this glossy side up because it's the sticky side, and we're going to be putting it down. So I'm going to do that right now.
So first, before you start on a victim, as we call it, you always want to ask if they have any allergies. Peanut allergies, latex allergies is probably the biggest one, I think, in our business. Do you have any allergies?
I do not.
Okay, so you want to make sure on film and TV you actually will do tests before you do that, just to make sure, and make sure and give it a day sometimes to make sure they don't have a rash or anything. You don't want your actors, and they don't want you to, help them develop a rash or anything, any skin conditions.
Yes, 1 second.
And you want to make sure that the area you're about to work in is clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to clean it with alcohol to make sure there's no lotion, because lotions actually can not help the adhesive not stick and can be an issue sometimes.
So the next step that I'm doing is I'm cutting around the area that I want to put. So we're not sticking this whole thing on there. So I'm going to be doing that in the back right now. So just cutting.
So have you ever had FX on you before?
Oh, yes. Actually, we go to Dragon Con
Oh,
together.
yes.
And
Who
my
doesn't love
prosthetics
Dragon Con?
at Dragon Con.
Awesome.
So it was a lot of fun.
Well, do you guys go to Dragon Con? Anybody?
I did,
Yeah.
Yes.
before I became a
Dragon Con, if you have not, if you're a costumer, if you do props, costume, any of that, Dragon Con is an amazing place to go. It is a little pricey now. This is my 14th year at Netherworld, and we've been going there. We're one of the main sponsors of Dragon Con. So we've been there back when it was little and really inexpensive, and now it's just outrageously expensive and huge. But it is a great place to people watch and costume watch.
So now what I'm doing is that there's a plastic part of this, and now I am removing the plastic. Just like that. And so this is now prepped and ready to put on. It's kind of like a temporary tattoo where you place it on and you just liberally place water on it in order to get it to stick. But first we're going to make sure that she's got herself all prepped and ready. I like to use a rubbing alcohol, either 70% or 99% to kill any type of bacteria.
You want to use that one?
Yeah, less
It's
intense.
better on her skin.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what about it.
I was actually.
So 99 alcohol, a lot of makeup artists use 99% alcohol because it helps with the alcohol palettes, which we use, which are waterproof, and they're great palettes to have. This one though, if you're gonna clean someone's skin, you don't wanna use 99 alcohol, that's pretty heavy duty. So we're gonna use a 70 to clean the area. And you can get that at any drugstore, you can get it, I think you can even get it at the dollar
The
stores
stuff
now.
you use for cuts.
Yeah.
Cleaning up stuff.
You can get it anywhere now.
99% alcohol is not something that you can go and find at your regular general store. You have to go to a makeup store for that.
Yeah, it
All
is,
right.
it's hard to find. Or you can order it online. I order a lot of my stuff online, which is actually less expensive.
So I'm using water that has not been drank, or I just opened it, so if everybody knows that. And I am wetting myself with paper towel. Whoops. It's a little wet. Nobody step in that area. All right. All right. So next we're going to place it where we want it on her neck. I want it like this, and then we are just going to apply all over, just like I said, a temporary tattoo.
And when using these temporary tattoos or Tinsley transfers, you want to actually think too of where you're putting it. Like, if you're going to put it right here and that's a crease, that's something that's going to crease or bend a lot, that's something you have to consider. You might have to use an additional adhesive to keep it down. It just depends, where it is. Like, obviously it's easier to, just like, remember when you were a little kid, you used to use those little tattoos with paper, and then you peel it off and half of it would stay and half of it would, kind of the same, so you gotta make sure you do wet it very well.
So, and we do this for a couple of minutes, make sure that it's been all over, it is completely wet. And we're not going to actually peel it, we're going to kind of try to, you know how when you used to peel the temporary tattoo and rip it? It's kind of the same idea. You want it to be able to feel like it's going to be removing soon. Just like that.
So it'll kind of release.
You look like you're always her victim.
From
Yeah, I'm
There it
used
is.
to it.
And then, see, look
Yay.
at that. Look, you want to turn for everybody to see?
Y'all say that?
And if you want, you can come up closer and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm also going to do is that, I'm actually going to apply a little bit of blood to it too, because blood is always going to be that last bit that's going to make it look amazing. So we're just going to, so she got bit.
Somebody bit her.
So I'm going to get myself a clean brush.
So you always want to check your edges to make sure that they are down. And again, you might have to use some adhesive to get those down. Because on film and TV, you definitely see edges.
Oh yeah.
Not theater,
Because
obviously.
they've got those red, what they call now red, those red cameras that everybody knows about.
And everything's high def.
Yeah.
Which
So-
makeup artists hate that. And actresses hate that. Don't they, Trish? See? She's an actress in Atlanta.
You have to have specialty HD makeup,
Yeah, so you do have to have special HD makeup for that.
as you see every
And it's very
pore.
expensive, but it's great stuff. Any questions?
Yeah, does anybody have any? They're really into this. I like to use a blood that's much darker, along with a little bit of a red. The darker it is, I just got a little bit of blood on.
Quite all right.
I'm sure she's used to it.
Yeah.
And also with those, you can use your color wheels, which I'll show you what that is in case you don't know what that is.
It's actually going to use that next.
Yeah, you can use these on those to fill in and make it more 3D looking.
Get myself. And what I like to do too is to make sure that to keep germs from spreading, separate with a spatula.
This is an ultra
Okay.
wild
That's
one.
good.
I made sure to tell her, be like, don't wear anything, and then we're just gonna go in.
And make sure as an FX artist, the ones who are makeup artists, or maybe filmmakers, there's actually different types of blood. So you want to have several different types of blood. You want to have the thick blood. You want to have blood that's scab. It's called thick scab. You want to have the running blood. And colors matter too. If somebody gets stabbed in the heart, the color is going to be different than if I get a paper cut on my finger.
Here you can show them the thick, fresh scab.
Oh yeah, this is called, this stuff's great. This does a lot of stuff.
I call it, that's great. And so she is done. If you can, if you want more pictures with the blood added to it, you guys are more than welcome to. We're going to be doing
looking.
a bullet wound through the head next. So, yeah.
What's a bottle of that blood? What's a bottle of that thick scab blood?
What's what?
What's
How
a
much
bottle
does
of
it
that?
cost?
Is that
That, it's actually got the price on it right here. It's $22.
Which
For a
that's a
big
good
old
price.
Big old
yes.
bottle. It's great price.
sweet?
Let's see.
How long does it
All right.
last?
So I'm going to prep the area again with the rubbing alcohol. Just going to put it.
Oh, sorry.
Some basics too you want to keep to be able to do this in your kit is obviously you want to always have alcohol because you can clean your brushes with that as well as do a lot of other stuff with it. Clean skin and do the transfers. But you also want to have popsicle sticks. These are easy. You can get them at the dollar store I think now. If not, Walmart has like a huge box of it or any craft store. You want to have alcohol. You want to have this. You want to have cotton, like regular cotton. It's better to have 100% cotton, but my case is going to be a little more expensive because of the stuff I have to do. But cotton's a wedge. You have a wedge.
Oh yeah. They're right over. They're underneath here.
Oh yeah. And these are, you can get these at Walmart now, like a huge bag. Those are great for your kit.
So next, this is the first step of what I'm doing is I'm using a adhesive in order for the scar wax that we're going to be using in the next step to keep stuck to the skin. A cheaper version of this, which I just currently ran out of, is Spirit Gum. It's also got the same tacky substance. This is just a stronger, it's going to last a little bit longer than most, and it also is very safe. They use these to place down in medical procedures where they need a graft, skin graft to stay.
Is that Prozac?
Yes.
It's called Prozac,
Yeah,
and you
that's
can
what
get it at Norcosco. I don't know what you guys have in this area.
Not anything in
Is
this
there anything
area,
in
but
this
in
area?
Atlanta.
Yeah, we have to travel for ours.
You have what?
You have to have man, that's okay.
Yeah, we all. Everybody's got to
Yeah,
travel.
okay.
Okay. If you're in Atlanta, Norcosco, but again, you can get it online. And you can get, obviously, everyone's heard of Spirit Gum because we've all been using that since we were little kids. And you can get that now at Party City. You can get it you can even, I think, get it at the grocery store in little kits during Halloween, and like it's everywhere.
So I'm cleaning my hands off with antibacterial soap because I'm about to go in and smooth some edges down with the scar wax that I'm about to show you. Nose and scar wax, so much fun. This is really, I will say it is sticky. So first of all, you might want to use some talcum powder or some lotion to put onto your fingers so it doesn't stick to you but sticks to them instead. So it's a very soft, pliable wax that you can use virtually for anything.
Do you need this?
Yes, that's what I was going
So this is why you want this in your kit.
I was actually going. Thank you so much.
Or you can use
Yeah, butter knife, any type of just metal.
not non-sharp, obviously,
Mhm.
because you don't want to cut your own finger and have real blood.
How realistic.
Yes. They'd be like, it looks so real.
Yeah, it does.
So I've got myself a good mound here, and I'm kind of shaping it to a whole, like a circle, like that.
You guys take it on our head.
And then we're gonna plop it on our head, just like this. Done.
Okay. So remember, she put the Prozac first. You want to put your adhesive first, and you want to make sure it's a clean area, especially with women because they wear makeup.
Wow, you don't
and
have
have
to.
a lot of powder.
Wow, you don't have to do any color blending.
Yeah, it's they
It
with
depends
scar,
on the
yeah.
color of
With-
the skin.
with scar wax they actually have
So it helps. You have
different
healthy skin though.
flesh tones. But what I like to do is try to get it as close to the skin as possible. And so what I'm doing is I'm just basically taking my finger and blending down into her skin, just like that. And we've got her, it kind of looks like a goose egg right now, but it's...
And another easy way, if you're not doing the scar wax, is if you get, you can get these online. These are bullet holes, prosthetics, little tiny, really easy. And you'll use that same Prozac with them. Again, you want to make sure you cut your edges. This is latex, so again, you want to make sure there's no allergies. That's important. And nowadays too, we're using a lot of silicone transfers, which I won't go into because it's kind of hard to explain.
All right, so I am just pretty much smoothing out this area so it can look, as you can see, there's not a lot of, you don't see a lot of seams. I'm sorry, I'm using your face.
Go right ahead, you're fine.
This is why she's my dummy.
Victim, yeah.
My victim.
Dummy,
We
all
say-
day.
we say-
All right, and next I'm going to use a spatula in order to stick into the hole and give make a perfect circle. So when you're thinking about entry wound, you're thinking that the bullet's going boom, so it's going to look more like it's going inwards. If it's exit, you're going to be pushing it out more. So we're going to stick in just like that. Turn it around. And then pull out.
Now, obviously, if you're a newer makeup artist, you want to be really careful because
Yeah.
that might have a sharp point, and when you stick it in, it's going to go right into their forehead. So you do want to make sure that number one, that doesn't happen. And if you, or just you can use a straw, like that's simple. Just cut a piece of straw to about that big, and it makes a great little circle. It's real, in the clay.
Yep. See, she's got a hole in her head.
Wonderful.
And now I am going and getting latex. Again, make sure with your actor if they have a latex allergy. And if they do, Andi will explain what you can use instead.
For the bullet hole?
Yes, or for anything that, if they have a latex allergy, what?
Well, there's several things that you can use. You can use gelatin, which makes sometimes a cool thing. You can use the Prose to put over it. It just depends on allergies. It depends on what you have with you. It depends on your budget.
Mhm.
You can use silicone transfers. Silicone's the newest, it's great. It's awesome to work with, and the silicone transfers are amazing,
I love silicone. I have,
but it is expensive.
it's very expensive. So I'm just encapsulating or covering this area with latex to give it just an extra layer to keep down and stay on the skin. And also gives it a little, because scar wax is so pliable, it just makes it a little bit sturdier. So.
You okay? Okay.
Sure.
Any questions?
I didn't
Yes.
find out I had an allergy till after I was your test pit in Atlanta.
Oh, from ACE doing that? Yeah.
I didn't.
That's why you do tests. You don't
Oh,
want
wow.
someone to break out or, yes.
So when you book a job, most FX people are freelancers, I'm
Mhm.
assuming.
It depends. There's so much work in Atlanta now, which we love it because all the FX artists are crazy busy working on lots of fun projects like The Walking Dead and other things. So most of them, I think it's better to freelance, and it depends too if you're in the union. That I won't go into all that with you, but that helps determine a lot of it, like pay and jobs and stuff. But there's a ton of work out there, especially even if you're just starting and you want to learn. A lot of makeup artists, I've taken on several interns. So you can intern with people, and you learn a lot. I have a degree in film, and I learned way more on set than I ever learned in school, and probably ever will.
Tonight, when you price out, when somebody wants to book you for a job, do you include the cost of the makeup items, your kit? Is that a separate cost?
That's a good question. As makeup artists, when you get booked on it depends on the project and the size of the project and the size of their budget. A lot of times it's important to ask, does that include, if they quote you a price, include your kit fee? It's called a kit fee. And that's a separate fee normally that's not included in your pay. Also, do you need prosthetics? Because I just worked on a film called Flesh, and they gave me, their makeup artist had to leave town like that day. And they called me one day in advance and said, can you get us prosthetic fingers and like this whole thing, this guy's gonna lose his hand, his finger, like all this stuff. And I was like, okay, so let me ask you a bunch of questions. Number one is the fee you're paying me include prosthetics? Because prosthetics can be very expensive. Luckily, I make a lot of my own prosthetics, so I know like about how much they're gonna run to make, like with the supplies, and if I have the supplies, if not, I gotta, try. Well, here it would be even worse because you have to drive to Atlanta to get the supplies, but you don't have, or overnight it online, and that costs a lot of money. So you have to incorporate all that into your price that you quote. And a lot of the indie projects, some will be, and I know she's worked on some as well. Mm-hmm. They are like, oh, we'll pay you, whatever amount, and it's got to include everything. So you're like, okay. So you have to think, okay, so what can I do for that price? Because you don't want to come out of pocket. Because you're already buying your supplies, and it's different when you're trying to build your portfolio, because then you do want pictures from that set. So you make that part of your deal. Okay, well, I get clips or pictures from that set, or whatever as part of it, and that's okay. Because a lot of filmmakers say don't take pictures on the set. You can't publish them. You can't, which you understand, because sometimes what you do reveals the story. And you don't want to do that for the filmmaker.
I have a lot of pictures that I'm not allowed to show because makeup art is literally the giveaway. So while she was talking, what I made is a homemade natural sponge. I just picked off the top. It gives you a nice uneven tone, especially if you're doing bruises or something like that. It's not going to be like that one big splotch, as opposed to it's just going to give you more of a texture. And I'll show you right now.
Yeah.
So,
So what color are you putting on?
just a nice deep magenta gives it a good, gonna put it around.
And you want to think too of when I get booked to do like a bullet hole in someone's head, you have to ask what kind of gun, what kind of weapon did they use.
Yeah, I would like to think that this is more of a shotgun because it's so big.
Because that would determine how big of a bullet hole you need, or if it's just blew half their face off, you know, or something.
Which I've done before.
So, it was terrifying.
She's seen it. It will give you nightmares. In fact, if you guys, anybody has an Instagram, please feel free to follow me. It's Emily K MUA. If you forget, just come look at my arm. Oh, and
And you have to think too with bullet holes or a cut, a scratch, whatever, swelling. Swelling comes into play, so it's not going to be just like a flat cut. I mean, it depends also on, and you as the FX artist need to find out what kind of weapon caused that cut. And was it, I just had this on this last film I worked on, they said, oh, well, he has a big cut on his face. And I was like, well, I need to see the weapon, the prop. Is it serrated, which would make a different cut than a nice clean, like surgical scalpel would make a nice slice, you know, or even a paper cut. You know how sometimes you have the little skin hanging, or so you have to think about all that goes into play when you're actually doing a cut or whatever.
So, with going along with that, thinking about depth and also what your cut is looking like, I tend to do, when I'm wanting to make it look more 3D, the deeper it is, the darker it is. The more shallow it is, the lighter the color. Because I just switched to a lighter pink. Because as you see, we've got a deeper pink here, and then I'm going to go in and put on a lighter pink. So it gives it that idea that it's been pushing out of her skin. So.
Anybody have a time check?
Yeah, what time is it?
1:26.
What time?
1:26.
We're doing so good.
I know, we have no idea. We're like, no watch or anything. No, my phone's dead.
Hallelujah. We just did we are almost done with 2 wounds, and we just started in under 30 minutes. That's what, to show you how quick and easy this is. All right, so we have put the color on it. It looks very swollen and wonderful. So now I'm going to go and put in scab glue, fresh scab, which we showed earlier. And then I'm going to get my metal. This. Good to get all these little plastic cups that help separate and keep things clean
And that's important. I remember because I do straight makeup and beauty makeup too, that on this set, I worked on this small film as an actress, and this makeup artist was working on this guy, and he had a really bad acne face. And I watched her because I'm really big about being clean and sanitary. You don't want to spread bacteria. And she worked on his face and then came right over to work on mine with the same tools.
Oh, no.
And luckily, I was watching, so I knew that. But if somebody wasn't paying attention, what that oils and stuff from bacteria from his skin would have been right on mine. And this grosses me out. So I had to be like, can you clean your brushes, or do you want to borrow mine? I mean, because I'd rather not.
Sorry, so as you see, I filled this, this is what's so wonderful about it. Like, I just put this in and instantly it's looking like it's deep. And you can use it even just to give it, to go out a little bit, just to give it more of the skin has serrated and all that with the bullet. Just dabbing it around outwards, just like that. And now, we go in with blood.
Where's my little metal? Oh, are you done with it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Wasn't it great?
I know. Everything just gets so fast. So I'm using this blood tilt your head back. And I like to fill it up a little bit just to give it that trajectory. And this is my favorite part, so Cameron, get good on this. So. I'm just filling it up to a point where I know where it's going to start bleeding. Now drop your head forward and just let it bleed out.
Yeah.
And that's called a natural roll.
Mhm.
So you want it to be the way blood would naturally roll, not like, oh, I'm gonna put it here and here and here. And yeah, we wanna watch her eye there. You wanna always tell the actor or actress, keep your eyes closed because it's rolling, it could roll right in your eye. So obviously you as the makeup artist wanna stop that and redirect it.
So there is a way to redirect that blood right
Yes.
going down.
Yes, definitely.
Just let it, yeah, just keep telling them, you know, tell all is like that.
Yeah, because you don't want it to go in their eye. They
Yeah.
won't like that. And neither will you.
That is no fun. I have
No
had
fun. And it
my
hurts.
actor, I told him to tilt this way, and they tilted the other way, and they got it in their eye. And if that happens, flush it out with water immediately, just as, do like at least a 5-minute flush out, just so they, because it can, you want to tilt back for me again? You got nosebleed?
Mhm.
Okay.
Perfect.
And on some things like this, if it goes all the way down to the neck, you have to realize like the curves of the body, the way certain things, like your neck, when it gets down to, say, if it was gonna roll all the way to her neck, would it roll down the neck like you want that effect, that look, you know, all the way down? No, because of the curve of the neck. So you would actually have to put it there so that it will follow that stream, like a river cutout, you know, you have to, it'll follow whatever path you put it on. So that way you'll have that effect versus dripping from here to here, because of the neck.
What
A lot of
I
people don't think of that.
What I also like to tend to do is mix a little water with the blood. And then if you close your eyes and keep them tight for me, please. Just giving it a little hold this, please. Thank you. Just going in, flicking all around, giving it that, you know, because blood goes everywhere when you get shot.
Yeah, so that's something you have to think about, like in an injury wound of that magnitude. The splatter effect, when a gun enters, a bullet enters the body, you know, you're gonna have the splatter. It's like if someone's violently, I know it sounds gross, I'm sorry, violently stabbing someone, you have to think of the splatter effects. But if it was a nice little, you know, stab in the stomach, you're not gonna have that. So that's things you have to consider.
But the makeup artists on Walking Dead do this like on a daily basis. Like,
Yes, they do.
Pretty much.
Well, when they're filming,
yeah.
which they just started filming the next season.
Yeah, I just learned at a convention that a lot of the zombies have one particular makeup artist that they like to work
Correct.
with, that really work with them well.
It depends on who's on the team that day.
And,
They have a huge makeup team. Greg Nicotero is awesome. He's a nice guy, but he's awesome makeup
the
artist.
guy I met at a convention not too long ago,
Yeah,
said
he's
he likes
very
them all.
intense.
He is very intense, but he's producing now and directing, so he's really talented.
So
Yeah,
does he
he's
still get
amazing.
in the makeup though?
Oh yeah, he's in control of, especially the episodes he directs. You know, and he's been in the makeup chair a lot too, as undercover zombies and stuff. So he loves it still.
So when they go to zombie school, that for FX artists like you, when zombie school starts happening, that's kind of a big deal for you FX artists. then.
I've been on The Walking Dead, so
Yeah.
I actually was a zombie for the first two series. And then I'm too busty and too heavy because all the apocalypse, you know, because it's so long after the apocalypse that they only want extremely skinny people.
All right.
So, which is understandable.
Her bullet
All
wound
skinny
is
people.
finished. And that was in
There, yeah.
about 15 minutes. I always like to say, always take pictures of your stuff, even if you hate it, even
why
if
I
you
have
think
it.
it looks horrible. Take a picture of it, because later on, when you get a lot better and you go back and you look at it, you'll be like, wow, I've gotten so much better. And oh my gosh, since the last time I've done this, I've improved immensely. So always, always, always take a picture of your stuff.
And a lot of times when you're going for that next job, most people will say, obviously, can I see your work? And because it's a visual medium versus, you know, just a resume type like acting, if you don't have projects, you just have it on your resume. This, you have a resume, but you can show them, these, pictures of your work.
And it
Any
helps you-
questions?
Does it help you guys with continuity when a director says, I gotta stay
Yes.
in continuity?
Continuity is huge, and those who are filmmakers know that. You definitely want continuity, so you want to take pictures, big, really tight close-up pictures. That's why I carry my T3 with me for continuity pictures. And you want to do it of every stage, so that if you, because she was on an indie film and couldn't be there one day, so they called me in, and I happened to be available, so I had to go in and try to replicate her work.
Yeah.
So I was
Luckily,
like,
I had continuity photos for her.
and it's hard because you're a different person. You create things differently. You're a different artist, but you have to get it exactly, because film and TV, it shows up differently.
And I actually worked on one where a makeup artist did not have continuity photos. She only had one picture, and it was a really low quality picture, and so I had to guess what that thing looked like afterwards, and
Which
it was
that's bad, because
Yes.
people will. There's actually websites for people who find
continuity
continuity
errors.
issues.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're like, that sign was on the other side 1 frame ago, or
Do you want to do a quick scrape?
yeah. Somebody want? You had your hand up first, so come on in here.
So
Are you okay?
straight
Okay.
We can do them both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
throw down.
This is he threw his hand up like before
You
he
need to
even
go
was
to the
thinking
doctor.
about it.
Go to the doctor.
Yeah, we'll do both of them. Actually, you want to come on up here and have a seat?
Go fix that.
Okay, so this is good because we have different ethnicities, which shows things differently. Thank you for volunteering so quickly. Are you a makeup artist?
No, I'm not.
What are you? Are you a filmmaker, or are you just
Actor.
actor? Okay, we have some actors here too. And so you have to think, I'm going to do, this is I think the basic FX of all. I think this is the first thing every makeup artist learns, and it's called road rash, or a very simple scrape, like a cat scratch or something, a slice. The easiest thing ever to do, and it takes maybe 10 minutes tops. It depends how pretty you want to make it or how ugly you want to make it. So where do you want to put it?
Doesn't matter.
Like, do you have any allergies?
No.
No, okay. So if you want to do it on your arm, just roll it. We're going to do yours on your leg, because you have this nice short
Yeah,
tip.
you already got it straight down.
Okay, so we'll start with him. We'll just do a real simple little scratch. Easiest, you just have your blade. This is real dull. Okay, so there's no way I could cut him with this, really. There's 2 ways you can do it. One is you can use your color wheel. You can see mine have been used a lot, so they're almost empty. There's also these things called stacks, which I don't really use mine a lot. It's in here somewhere. Color stacks, these you can get at Costco. I think you can get these at Party City during the season. And it has all your basic colors you want: dark red, light red, we call it dead red because it's the real dark, dry looking. Yellow, which is for bruising, purples, or dark black, which is for bruising as well. These are great because they contain all your colors, and they're contained, so if you drop it, it all stays in there, it stays clean. Okay, and another way you could do it is with this is the easiest way. So if you have to you have 5 minutes, your filmmaker's like, quick, get a scratch on him right now. You're like, okay. So you take a blade, I'm on it. So,
pretty
or
much.
popsicle stick, which you should have in your kit. So you just run it. Very easy, see? Can you guys see that? I know it's kind of dark in here. This is how easy this is. You want to make sure your extra is off.
Ta-da. Done. And I actually did this. I did something similar to this on a shoot that I did recently, where, because sometimes directors will just spring a surprise on you, which is why you always
quite
want
often.
to carry everything with you, no matter what, even if you think that they're going to just say natural makeup today. Because sometimes the director's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I want scratches all up and down his arms and I want him bleeding.
Yeah,
And you're
in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Go.
in 5 minutes. And so I was like, oh, all right. So I used this fresh scab, and it just cut up this guy's arms, and they looked legit afterwards. And it was just about, and he said, it's like, how long is this going to take you? We need to be on it now. like you're seeing.
And a lot of filmmakers do that.
Mm-hmm.
We need it in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, see how easy that was?
Done.
Literally one tool. And this scab blood.
Ooh.
So you want to let it dry, obviously. Now you can do a lot more to this. Like you could make it look swollen. You could make it look bloody, like gushing blood. I don't get blood on his nice clothes there. But you would just run blood on it and let it natural run. Remember, like we did on
The natural roll.
her, yeah, wherever.
Hey
there
there.
she is. So it just depends. I just don't want to get blood spilled all over him. See how easy that was? Sometimes though you do, if you want to scab it more, you would need to pat it down with your finger or your thing that you used, and then you can powder it. Okay? See how easy that is? Awesome.
Hey, actually, why
Yes.
instead of doing a scrape, why don't we show a bruise? Because bruises are always.
Well, I was going to do it on her.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So
Sorry.
this is all, so you're done. See how easy that was?
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
that. Simple, easy.
So that would be like a cat scratch or a, something. See how easy that is? And it looks cool. Especially if you put the running blood off the corners. You would add it off the corners or down the
Is
scrape.
yours a scratch? Yours is not a scratch. Yours is a gash.
Yeah, that's a big old gash. I actually was I taught a class earlier this morning,
I can.
teaching the college kids how to do their own scratches, and
Okay.
that was from today. And then
All
you
right,
got that.
so we're gonna go next. That was, see how easy that was? Anyone can do that. You literally just need a tool in the blood. All right, so now since she has this nice white leg, we don't care. It's hairy, she said we don't care. But you have this nice big space, so we're gonna actually do a road rash and a bruise, which
Yeah.
bruises can be tricky monsters within themselves. Road rash, easy, almost as easy as that. So what you always want to have in your kit as well is a stipple. This is called a stipple sponge, and it's textured. It's real rough. I have 2 different sizes. I have small hands, so I always have to use the little one versus the big one. You do want to keep these clean between each one because I've had people just keep they don't realize because it's like a sponge that no, you do want to keep it clean, not gross bacteria sponge. Okay, so there's several ways. Again, you could use the color wheel. You can use this scab. So I'm going to show you both ways because this is something really simple. Every budding FX artist or filmmaker could probably put on really quick.
So, from with going on with bruises, from a makeup artist that I was learning from, he told me that basically any bruise you do is going to, like, if you ever look at a bruise, it looks unnatural, and but they all have different types of colors, and sometimes, like he said that one time he actually got a bruise and hit himself really hard, and then somebody says, that's makeup, right? And he goes, no, that's a real thing. He's like, wow, that doesn't even look real. And he says, I know. It's very interesting how bruises go. Like,
and everyone bruises differently. So, like a bruise, if she got a bruise, a real bruise, it would be different than the way my body heals from a bruise. Even if we got kicked in the shin or whatever from the same thing, our bodies heal differently.
right.
So you want to take your stipple. You want to dip just the corner, all right, because it's a clean stipple. You would dip just the corner. It's really easy. So you're going to drag it. I use my ring finger for brace. Okay?
Oh, wow.
How easy is that?
Done.
It's literally in the texture.
She's just like, what
I
happened?
know.
She's actually cutting her.
Yeah, it's actually really sharp.
Yeah, that's how you do
She's
it.
really, it's steel wool.
It's a Brillo pad. Yeah, it's a Brillo pad. So you just.
That would be bad. Okay, so you want to also figure out, okay, so how did she get, when I teach my little kid workshops, I always go, okay, let's make up a story about how this happened before I teach them a certain FX. And I'll say, so you got a road rash. All right, so road rash obviously is from the street or the road. And most of the kids, it seems like, want to fall off their skateboard or their bike, which makes sense. Because we've probably all done that at one time or another.
Exactly.
So you want to take, I'm going to use a different side. I'm not using the gross bloody side. All right, I'm going to put this down. I don't need this now to do another type of road rash.
Another fun thing that somebody had told me about road rash, if you want to give it a little, like it has gravel stuck in there, coffee grounds. Yeah, you just kind of stick it in there and stick it in with the road rash, and it just kind of gives it a different texture of like dirt and grossness. But make sure not to use a dark roast, because I've actually had an actor get so one of the makeup artists used it on her, and she kind of got a rash afterwards, because it just like the acidity, acid, whatever, of the coffee. Actually, use a light roast, something that doesn't have a lot of that word. So acidity.
Okay, so to do the second road rash, it's hard. All right, so what you're gonna do is for the road rash, so these little kids are like, oh, we went flying down this huge hill and we fell off our skateboard. I'm like, okay, so where did you fall? First of all, obviously, so we know what area. Well, we're pretending like she fell on her shin. And did the skateboard hit you? Was there a huge rock in the street? Because if your shin hit that huge rock, there wouldn't just be a road rash, right? There would be like a big gash and running blood. No, we just scraped our knee.
Yeah.
So we'll scrape her knee. So it's real easy. You take your stipple, all right, and with your color wheel, you guys see that?
That's the master bruise wheel.
All right.
Good night.
You want to just do, and you have to think too, how long ago did it happen?
Mhm.
Because if it just happened,
Red
the bruising wouldn't be purple and yellow, because that's actually, the yellow in your skin for bruising is when the blood is leaving. It's dried out, it's leaving you. When it just happens, it's usually bright red.
Yes.
You know, when you fall, you get like a
Big old
bright
red mark.
yeah, or a
Yeah.
punch in the eye. It's always red the first day, and the
Mhm.
next day it starts to get those weird purple, or your eye turns red,
Yes.
or whatever. So that's the progression of bruises.
It
Some
goes red, then to purples, and then to yellows and greens.
Yeah,
So-
and the purple's usually before the yellow, usually yellow or green. Some people, green.
Mhm.
You green?
She greens.
Yeah, green to me it does look fake. It's like really,
Yeah, you're like, what?
you have that greenish tint to your skin, but that's the last of the blood that's your body getting rid of it. All right, so you want to take your stipple, you want to dip it, since it's a road rash, we're going to go with the dark red. We're going to pretend like it happened maybe a day or so ago, not just fresh. So same thing is you're just going to drag it. You're just going to drag it. And remember, the body's already started to heal itself. So it's not going to be bright red, bloody, like fresh blood.
So there's another different method of doing bruises too. Is also that pick and pull sponge that I used and just dabbing. And there's it's
Yeah,
another good way of
that's
doing it. Yes, she's got that
Pull
one.
the
next.
edges off.
Yeah. So that one's really, it's all trial and error. Pick out what you like.
So with road rash, you're going to put down your base. Can you put your leg down? Yeah. Can you guys see that? So you're just going to put down your base. Remember, and it's happened a day or two ago, so it's already kind of scabbed, because your body scabs pretty quickly, hopefully. So you're going to put down your base. Then you have to think, okay, is it, bruising? Well, since it happened a couple of days ago, yeah, it's probably starting to bruise. So we're going to, like she said, you take one of these. You break off your edges. You don't want those weird sharp edges, because you'll have a straight line.
Yeah. They
So
look
you
gross.
rip off the corners of all
everywhere.
Yeah. I'm not going to take the time to do that, though, because I don't want to burn our time up.
Yeah, we're at, just to let you know, we're at 13:48. Which, if you want to stay afterwards and talk a little bit more with us, you're more than welcome. There's nothing happening afterwards in this area. Or if you want to go and catch a film afterwards, my feelings won't be hurt. I'll just cry when you guys leave. So. It's good.
Okay, and so because she fell on the road, then we have to understand that, yes, there is going to be some gravel, some dirt, who knows what's on that road. So you want to take your black, okay? And this simulates dirt. You're just going to tap it. Okay, we don't want too much, because hopefully by the time it's scabbed, there's not a lot of dirt in there, because you should debrief it. You should clean hopefully clean it.
But when you're running from zombies, you ain't got time
Yes,
for that.
that's a different story. Okay, so now we're gonna take our sponge that we ripped the corners off. This is where we're gonna add some bruising. So since it didn't just happen, we're gonna use, and she greens, she told me. We got see our yellow and green there. So you're gonna add a little bit of yellow around. And this is not good lighting, so it's,
Cause,
I'm not sure if y'all can see this.
when you have an impact, the deeper wherever the harder the impact, the deeper the color is going to be. So like if you've got like a punch, where those impressions of your fingers are going to be a deeper, darker colors of blues and blacks and greens and those kind of colors. When you're going to be somewhere lighter in the impact, that's where your yellows and your greens and your bright reds are going to be setting. So if you want to do a fist, always think about the impact. What does that thing look like? If you're going to do a crowbar, think about what that looks like. If you're going to be doing, somebody getting hit in the head with a ball, for comedy's sake, thinking about thinking about the impressions of where the basketball thing's going to be laying. So
I'm gonna go in, I put some bruising around it. I'm gonna add a little bit of the purple. Or gray. Some people it looks more purple, some people it looks more gray. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of that, just to pull some of that bruising out. See what happens when you rip your sponge. And you have to think about the area too, like if she fell that hard on her shin, there's not going to be just, nothing else on the rest of the leg. There's going to be a scrape, there's going to be a scratch, there's going to be some more road rash, there's going to be something.
Mm-hmm. So what is everybody else going to be going and doing today?
International Shorts, Block 2, and
Yeah. By the way, if you guys are not doing for the horror block shorts, I'm actually having a film that I did key makeup special effects on. It's called The Grinning Man. Come and see that. It's really scary. It was in the 48-hour films, and it won best cinematography and audience award. And it was
8:30 tonight at Central State.
Yes, Central State. So it's even gonna be scarier because it's there at that place.
And there's also a midnight screening in Central State.
Oh, fine. Ooh, yeah. I've heard about that one too. It's so after you guys, get your drinky drink on at the after party. Don't drive yourself over there, but come on over and don't get too, responsibly. But
All right, so
enjoy yourself.
you want to make sure, I added just, put your leg down so they can see just a couple of cuts, because I'm sure there was some little pebble or something. It's right there, but because it's scabbed, you want to make sure it's not bleeding, it's not, fresh. And then you would powder this. All right? So it's not that hard, is it? Pretty
And
easy.
that's Just Effects 101.
So any questions? Any questions? Yes.
When did you know that this was your jam? This is what I want to do.
I'll go first, yeah. I mean, I always, when I was in high school, I was never the girl I was always a tomboy. I never wore pretty makeup. In fact, I would take the CoverGirl makeup and then try to figure out how to make it look like a demon or or like kabuki makeup, and then I would and then I was also the girl that really liked to confuse people, instead of going in I would go one day as a total prep and wear the pretty clothes with my hair up and all pretty, and then the next day I would go in full on goth, black lipstick, pins hanging out of my ears, and people were they didn't understand. And that's what I started. I love to freak people out, and as Sharon Needles likes to say, when in doubt, freak them out. So, and that's always how I've always been. And like I said earlier, as I started getting into it, and somebody said, "Why don't you do this as a career?" I said, "Well, this is what I do for fun." They're like, "Well, that's what you want to do as a career. So do what you love what you do."
Your career can be fun.
Mm-hmm. True that. Go ahead, Shannon.
There are several things I think I recommend every makeup artist put in their kit. One is called No Sweat. You can get this online. You can get it at Costco. You want to put this on for actors. At Netherworld, we use this a lot, who sweat a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
now it's not good you want to make sure to tell your actor, don't leave this on for days and days. Some people don't wash their leg, whatever. So you want to tell them because it actually clogs the pores and makes you not sweat. That's why it's called No Sweat. So you don't want to, I always say, especially if I'm using it on their face, wash your face as soon as you get home. We'll give you, as makeup artists, we'll give you stuff to clean your makeup or take the prosthetic off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you do want to definitely, whenever you have FX makeup, wherever, clean it really well, especially if you use No Sweat. But this stuff is great. It really does prevent sweat. You can get cheap powder at the dollar store, at Walmart, anywhere around here, to use. You don't have to use, now if you're doing high def, obviously you need high def makeup because it is different. But if you're just doing, theatrical, if you're doing indie projects, whatever, you can use this. You just want to make sure it doesn't have sparkles in it. No shiny stuff. There's another thing. This is called Final Seal. So once you finish a project, if they're going to be on set and you're outside working on, for 5 hours, if your victim's outside working, you want to make sure to put this stuff is great on it. It's Final Seal because it does seal it, and it's great. It holds
good
it.
stuff.
Yeah, it can hold it for hours. And then when it comes to taking it off, Bond Off is great. This stuff it's a little pricey, but all this stuff kind of is. But unfortunately, FX makeup is not real cheap. But there are ways you can cut corners, like the baby powder or the whatever.
Mm-hmm. Or cotton and latex.
Yeah.
Old school stuff.
Versus prosthetics.
Mm-hmm. That's what I use. And if you go and look at my Instagram, there's actually one of a guy's face that looks like it's been blown off, and all of that is just cotton, latex, homemade gelatin, and the fresh scab with color on it. $25. So you can do some really out of proportion, whoa, crazy stuff with, just a low budget. You just got to know how to work it. So does anybody else? You didn't answer the question.
Oh, what was the question?
It was what made you get into this?
Oh, okay. So I've been in. I'm a lot older than a lot of you people here. I was in college a long time ago, and ever since I've been modeling and acting since I was like 5 years old. My mom was a model, and so it's kind of in the blood. I started doing modeling and acting, and would always wander to the makeup, and I just think it's just so fun to do facades. It's all a facade. Filmmaking in itself can be a facade. So. It's just something that I fell in love with, and even though I'm a filmmaker, I like both sides of the camera, but I still always keep my hands in FX because it is fun. And I think one of the biggest thing is watching reactions when you put a really great prosthetic, like I did that film Flesh with the fingers, and I brought out the fake fingers, and everyone's like, ah, like the whole set, like here's the stunt fingers, and they're like, ah, especially when you do, I did a fan film of Friday the 13th, which I'm sure all the makeup artists have seen. If not, you need to watch that whole series, because it is good for FX to watch. Mm-hmm. And we did we were out in the woods all day. It was awful working. The weather was hot, and we were all stinking and sweaty and sticky blood all over us. Yeah. And we had to shoot. We were waiting for night because we had to shoot the night scene. The guy who was Jason was behind me in this scene, and I had to do blood tubes and pumps. I'm sure you've seen that's when the blood squirts out, and filmmakers love that, especially on horror films. And so I'm only 5'5", I think I'm 5'4" now. I literally was standing between the two guys, the guy who was Jason and the guy who was the guy getting his throat slashed. We had a prosthetic on him, and I had run a blood tube all the way down his sleeve, around back, and I stood between them. They were both 6 feet. So I literally in the film am standing between them with my arm like up his, and he was sweaty and stinky, and it was gross. And I had my arm with my blood pumps ready, and as soon as, because the prosthetic was already applied, we took like a good hour and put that thing on. It was not going anywhere. And as soon as he said cut, Jason, they squished me. I was like, ugh. They literally, because he grabs him like this, and I was in between them, and sliced his throat. And I could hear, because we did mini rehearsals, you do something like that. It's a one-take wonder.
Yeah.
So you want to be ready. And as soon as I heard I know it sounds gross,
Gargling.
the meat, the gurgle, I did the thing, and it went squirting out. It was like, that's awesome. But I was like stinky and sweaty the rest of the day. I know, and they're both like, sorry. And I was like, oh. So it's really fun. Stuff like that's fun. I have pictures of me literally on the back of, because I'm kind of little, on the back of some big mafia guy who's cutting someone's thumb off because I had to run a blood tube. I do a lot of blood tubes because I'm the small one on the team. So that stuff like that, it's fun, and the reaction's fun, and I love it. I'll do it as long as I can.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Any
you're fine.
other questions do we have?
Now's your chance.
Thank you all so much.
Of course. If you guys for coming, it was really exciting to have all of you.
Feel free to hang